Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, Danae, and I'm here with a message for you. What's going on, everybody? Happy Friday to ya. September 19th, 2025. We are just days away from the new moon, solar eclipse, partial solar eclipse, and also the fall equinox. It's crazy. It's that time of year already. Again, hope you are governing yourselves accordingly, getting your house in order, your mind, body, and spirit in order, in alignment, and preparing yourself for a new season. Hopefully it's a good one for you. The best yet. That's the prayer. All right, I'm gonna cut it one more time and we're gonna get right to it. This is gonna be, I'm gonna try to make it a really quick message because I actually got some things to do. So this was just a whimsical jump on because I got a little bit of time to kill. What was that? Knight of Swords. A message or advancement incoming. Alright, let's see. Or proposition, offer. Really? Come on. Okay, is this a secret message? All right, let's see what this is. Oh, of course. It's more than a message. It's an attack. Or a lie. Damn, we had this energy last message. So 7 of Swords that didn't really want to be seen, but was kind of exposed anyway, is en route or has an intention to launch some type of, I would say in this case, it might be a verbal attack or may already be launching some type of verbal assault. That's what I hear. Or to come in with a proposition or some type of offer that is just completely deceptive. It's either a lie or it's has a malintention behind it, some ulterior motive. You know, it's a con. I hear that, like it's some type of con or scam. Damn. It's not honorable, it's not honest, it's not trustworthy. And whomever it is that is bringing this or has the intention or ambition to do so is not really, it's like, okay, it's like they feel like they have come up with a good plan. Like they think that they got all their bases covered, all their, points checked, but really it's not that well thought out because it's the Knight of Swords. So there's some progression there, or what's the right word, like some not progression, development. Yeah, there's some development of a plan or intention there, but there's also kind of a blind spot because the knights for the most part have more of a self-serving or too personal of an ulterior motive for all bases to be covered. You know, they're not in the highest frequency always, but certainly in the Seven of Swords. Like, this is somebody that they are just too tunnel vision toward what they want to accomplish or what they want to get out of a situation, to have really considered all angles in a way that would be success, that would bring success for the plan, you know. And not to mention, if it's founded on the basis of something that's not truthful or with good intention, that's an issue as well. You know, it's kind of like doomed from the start in a sense. Little gnat, what are you doing here? Get out of here. Get out of here. Yeah, exactly. And that's the type of energy, like somebody coming with all guns a-blazing, you know, all cylinders fired, and it's like the person that they encounter will be like, man, get out of here. Ain't nobody trying to hear that. Like, nobody's believing that. Nobody's trying to hear that. Nobody's accepting that. Get out of here. Like that. No, the offer's not good enough. The story's not good enough. We don't believe you. You need more people type energy. Yeah. What the freak is this? Is this something? Oh, it must fly because it got back up here real fast. Damn it. Get out of here. Fast and furious, relentless is the energy. Relentless, like no matter what, you know, they may even be aware of the holes in the plot or the holes in their story, or how it might just sound a little bit off or unbelievable, but they're going to come through with it anyway. They're going to carry it out anyway. Oh, so a Queen of Wands or against a Queen of Wands, one or the other. I'm sorry, not Queen of Wands. I'm so sorry. The Queen of Cups. Queen of Cups. So someone that they think is soft enough to get over on. That's seducible. Is that a word? Gullible, maybe, you know, like, oh, they're compassionate and empathetic enough to, even if they know you lying, or like, oh, this is interesting. So this is an energy where it's like they feel like whatever it is that they're coming with is enough to pull on somebody's heartstrings, to the point where even if it is clear, you know, and evident that someone is not being forthright or honest, someone will feel sorry enough for them anyway, or have enough affection toward them anyway to still kind of either give them the benefit of the doubt or give them a chance, you know, like, oh man, something must be really going on. You know, like somebody has so much care for somebody that they'll kind of let them get a pass, or kind of, what is it really like to let them, yeah, it's like giving them a pass, or just something else that I'm trying to put my finger on though. Like, let them get away with it, like get away with murder. You know what I mean? Like, there would be enough affinity there, or someone is so understanding. There it is. Something about being understanding that it's like they'll pretty much give someone, you know, let somebody off easy. There it is. Let somebody off easy. Yeah, that's the worst case scenario. Well, to this person, this is what they're projecting or visualizing, perhaps, that at least somebody will let them off easy, be forgiving or understanding or compassionate, or embrace them in some way, shape, or form, and maybe perhaps on account of the story that they're getting ready to tell or they're wanting to present. But the hope is that even if someone can kind of see through the holes or hear through the deception, that they'll still kind of have a heart for him anyway and read it as something different, or almost make excuses. Yeah, like somebody almost like make excuses. Somebody's pride is really there. This is weird. Like they don't even care if they look like a liar per se, as long as they can somewhat get into the good grace of someone. Just to be in the presence of or in proximity to someone's good graces has some value. If they could just get away with just a little bit of what's in the Queen of Cups cup, a little bit of love, a little bit of, oh well, you know, he's done he's trying, he does his best. Or it could even be, you know, consideration of a past connection or something like that. Like it's something weird here that the person, they're just willing to roll the dice on however they're going to look at this point in time, just to forge some type of connection, as if that's enough, like that's sufficient to just be able to get in front of someone and tell a story or spin a narrative. Because for a trickster energy like this, it's like if it's enough opportunity to just create a doubt of a certainty, that would be sufficient. Like to kind of spin a narrative in such a way where someone could reconsider their thought about them or reconsider their position. Again, be more open-hearted, open-minded. It's more so about a heart space though, because just the danger of someone's words is that they can be convincing enough or cunning enough to at least project doubt, you know, or project a cause for someone to give grace. Because although it might be plain or quite clear that someone is deceptive or not honest or not truthful or not authentic or whatever the case may be, they believe enough about their ability to make a mental impression or to manipulate perhaps even emotional energy or whatever the case may be, to create a doubt that would at least kind of get them off the hook a little bit. Because if the person is doubtful about the true nature of someone, then as my phone goes off at 1:07, hold on, I gotta check this text message because it could be important. Oh no, it's not. I mean, it's not at this moment. I'm waiting for my nail tech to text me back because I got a nail that needs to be fixed. But yeah, like that just threw me off too. But if there could be any room for doubt, then it would take some of the guilt or the condemnation off of who someone truly has been or truly is. You know, like it's weird. I don't even know if I'm explaining that right, but I feel it. It's like, yeah, I might be a thief and a liar, but can you prove it? You know, and then almost like telling your story to the judge or something like that. And it's like the burden of proof is on the prosecutor, you know, or on, well, really, I'm talking, that's a small claims case where the burden of proof is on the plaintiff. I watch Judge Faith. Side note. And People's Court sometimes, Judge Billion. But beyond a reasonable doubt is usually the more, you know, advanced like court case, where it's like, which one is the preponderance of evidence? Is that I think that is what I'm talking about, the preponderance of evidence. I don't know. Now I'm getting confused. But anyway, it all matters because this could be something minor, it could be something major, it could be something civil, it could be something criminal, it could be something spiritual, it could be something physical. Either way, it's like if there is no proof to substantiate who someone truly is, then that gives them a bit of a slip, or like an escape from their guilt. Now, why that is so important between this character and the Queen of Cups is the question, but for whatever reason, someone is very is very determined in some way, shape, or form to procure that absolution, and somewhat, not totally, but at least, again, to create the slight of doubt, or at least to have someone feel like, well, maybe it wasn't all bad, or wasn't that bad, or wasn't as bad as I thought, or it's like, maybe I got it wrong, maybe I misunderstood, maybe I, you know what I mean, like I'm that type of energy. And it's like, no, they're just as shady with the Seven of Swords and reckless with the Knight of Swords, and perhaps self-serving, maybe even rageful, with that Seven of Swords. The Knight of Swords can sometimes give off a rage type of energy. They're everything that you probably thought they were, or everything that they are presumed to be, maybe even worse. Maybe worse. Like, this is not somebody that necessarily needs more grace than what the natural human, the natural human allowance would offer. Just like naturally, off the strength that, hey, we're all human type of energy, and let live and let live, but not an absolution. No. It's not giving that. Because I had to go through too much to get to the bottom of what that really was, based on how it felt to me, which means that, like I said, someone is still in a deceptive energy. Like, they're not really looking to be honest and forthcoming in what they have to say or share or present. They just want to maybe feel better about themselves, or even worse, to make someone else feel bad about how they felt about them. Imagine that. Even that would be satisfying for them. Look at that. Look how that came out. The Empress. Yeah, to make somebody doubt their position. To be a little bit shaky, like, oh, maybe I had it wrong. Maybe I misjudged. You know what I mean? Maybe I should be a little bit more compassionate, a little bit more loving and empathetic, and bullshit. Nah. Your first instinct is your right instinct. This can be kind of Libra energy, and sometimes there can be a teeter-totter, like, should I feel this way, or should I not feel this way? Usually, and I learned this, which was helpful for me, because I have a lot of Libra energy. My moon, my rising, my sun is in the second house, which is ruled by Venus. So, and Libra, Pluto in Libra, and something else in Libra too. I have another Venus placement, but either way, a lot of energy. And I learned this with it's like with Aries, they just know and react and respond to their first instinct or impulse, sometimes to a fault, right? Because there really is no backtrack or reconsideration for what they feel. They just go straight forward with it. And it's a great quality to have, but like I said, there's a shadow to everything. Libra, which is the opposite sign of Aries, sometimes will have that instinct, but their incessant need to balance and consider all angles and polarities and dualities will have them backtrack and try to find some middle ground, or even to just question what they initially felt. Like, you'll feel the truth or the answer at first thought, but then you'll kind of talk yourself back, like, well, maybe it's this, or maybe I should look at it from this way, or maybe there's some place we can, some way we can have both things be true, or find some common ground or something. And it's like, no, so I've learned to recondition it's still a process, I'm still learning, but I've learned to be more, when I find myself in that space of like over considering things, I learned to kind of ground myself back to the original thought, because usually that is the right one. Tried and true, usually that is the right one. When you consider like, what blind spots you may have had or not had, or, like, definitely most times considering the logic of it all, you know what I mean? That's not lost in Libra energy, but also not allowing yourself to talk yourself out of what you felt initially, because 9 times out of 10 you were not wrong, or you were not misguided. If you're more or less, in alignment with your true self, not delusional, of course, but if you have a pretty level head on your shoulders, you more or less do a pretty decent job of trying to make the best decisions, and keyword decisions. Libra's Libra's what do you call it, kryptonite. But more or less you make the pretty decent choices for yourself for the most part, then you can trust yourself with what you feel and what you sense. Because this could even be like an ex, you know what I mean, or somebody that would want to come back into the picture proclaiming to be a changed man, or maybe to, almost rewrite the past, or again, just manipulate your emotional energy to be more open to a new experience. Like, oh, that was the past, or we were young, or I've changed, or whatever, you know what I mean? I've grown a lot since then. And it's like, no, they just learn how to do it better, kinda, but they ain't really changed. They just, now somebody has, with the Queen of Cups to the Empress, somebody's evolved a great deal. They have, the Empress's indication that somebody's not just the Queen of Cups anymore. They don't simply rely on their emotional intelligence. They've become more well-rounded. All the energies are, like I said, that fullness of self, that whole self, the wands, the swords. This is somebody that might tap into how they feel, but they also going to tap into what makes sense. They also going to tap into what is beneficial for their best, for their highest good. They're also going to consider what's it going to take out of them, or what's going to be expended from their energy to engage this proposition or whatever it is. They're going to consider all angles, and it won't be in a matter of or it doesn't have to be in a matter of like confusing yourself. It's just really just seeing the whole picture for what it is, not just being emotional. So somebody that could have had an emotional attachment to someone or something before, the buck doesn't stop there anymore. It's like, yeah, I had love for you, or I got love for you, but I love me more. The Empress. All right, let me hurry up, because I really didn't want to be here long, right? The Sun, yeah, like I said, like, she ain't playing no games out here. I just heard, I ain't going back and forth with you, Nick. I'm living my best life. Emphasis on the first line. Like, I ain't even gonna go back and forth with you. Like, no. Like I said, get out of here. That season is over. It's a new season. There is no there's no space for entertaining anything that's not on this vibration here. Nothing that can be questioned, even if it's still a question, a consideration. And that's where, here it is. Remember, I said somebody has a blind spot in their plan because they think that they're just encountering someone that can be emotionally manipulated or seduced or enticed or whatever. It's like, that's not the case anymore. So, and or they figure at least I can get them to doubt something or question something or reconsider. But this is not really the season for those that have kind of been around the block a couple times anymore to backtrack in that way. Hopefully not. Like at the Empress level, you've come too far in your personal self-esteem, knowing your value, establishing your own thing, and really integrating with your heart's true desires and life's passions and all of that, to even make room for a consideration or a reconsideration. For what value does it have? It would only bring value to whomever is asking for it. But in this case, it doesn't bring any true value to someone that is already pretty solid where they are, And this could be masculine or feminine. Of course, it's coming up pretty strong in the feminine aspect with the Queen of Cups and the Empress. But it's just, a man could be approached in the same way, with some old energy, some past outdated proposition that probably was enticing once upon a time or was intriguing. And when you consider where that, more or less, what that afforded before, like what came out of it, and consider what you have to lose and gain at this point, it's like, nah, I'm good. I can't even make concessions for considerations if it's not a sure thing, if it doesn't feel solid, if it doesn't seem, if it gives me cause for a pause or any type of confusion around it whatsoever, it's just not even worth the, well, let's just see. You know what I mean? It's like that's what someone could also be hoping for, that someone would be so willing to reconsider that they might roll the dice a little bit, or just give someone a little bit of leeway, maybe even a little rope to hang themselves before. And by that time, you give somebody a little bit of rope, they be then tied it around your neck. You know what I mean? Before you get to the final end of it all. So it's dangerous. It's dangerous. This is not the season for let's just see, or it's truly a fuck around and find out type of season. There's no grace for it. Not for things that you already know or lessons you've already learned. The stakes are higher now. And it doesn't mean you are necessarily banished from the kingdom of God in the most dramatic way, but it does mean that you definitely set yourself up for a consequence that will put you in a position to be like, I knew it. I knew I shouldn't have that. I knew I was right. I knew what I felt, and it's like, nobody wants to feel like that. It's a terrible place to be when you knew good and damn well that something wasn't right, and you allowed yourself to kind of be softened to reconsider or allow its time to show you what you already knew, you know. That hurts worse than being blindsided sometimes because you knew better. It's like the divine is illuminating everything and shining light on everything you already know and already learned and have already established. And then some more shit, you know. It's like, well, if you ain't going to look into the light, Carol Ann, then I don't know what to tell you. Ooh, what was that? Is that a horn? All right, let me hurry up. Ooh, okay, we got a 2 for 1. I'll take it. And we got the tower under here. It didn't pop out, but I just happened to see it. Yeah, like, hell no. We ain't trying to bring in no tower moments unnecessarily. That's when the universe got to move you because you won't move or you won't respond to the signs. The hangman here, haven't seen the hangman in a long time too. I was just thinking about that the other day, like I sure haven't seen the hangman in a while. Well, here it is. So what is this hangman and king of cups saying? Is somebody well, that could be the enlightenment next to the sun card. Like, don't act like you waiting on something that you already know or already have, you know, or have already seen before. Because that's almost like a self-delusion. Like, well, maybe I'm not looking at it right, or maybe something has changed, or maybe I was misled or misguided. But what is this King of Cups? Let me get one more, because somebody could be, wow, I got another 2. Am I taking these? It might be 3. Oh no, it's 2. I'll take them. All right, I'll take this one first because I saw it. And yeah, so somebody is, this could be that lover man energy that I'm picking up, this vibe of someone wanting to rush in and create some type of emotional attachment. Is that what this is? Hold on a second. Or is this another energy? Ending here with the 5 of Pentacles is definitely not ideal. I see what I want to say, but I don't want to project this energy if it's not the case. Like the King of Cups could be someone, and ideally would be a match to the Queen of Cups that is in a stabilized emotional place, you know, that's not erratic or vengeful, rageful, any of that, manipulative. In the upright, that's how I want to feel about it. But then based off of how I've been speaking and the 7 of Wands to the 5 of Pentacles, I don't know, it feels like someone can do a great deal, or at least believes they can do a great deal to present themselves as this equal, balanced partner. Like they can probably put on the airs, put on the costume. Again, they can seduce, they can seduce with their words, they can pull on heartstrings, but it wouldn't last long. I think that's what I'm seeing here. It's like someone more or less may have the sensibility about them to clean up real good, like I said, to really present this case of someone that would be trustworthy ultimately, but it wouldn't last long. Like there would be too many strikes against them that would be too evident. Yeah, it's something like that here. So, like, let's say this scenario, like somebody came to, like, you reconnected with someone off site, off first connection. It could feel like, either nostalgic, or it could feel invigorating, or like there's chemistry, like, wow, it feels fresh, like, yeah, like maybe even feels like something new if it isn't. And that might be sufficient enough to kind of throw someone off, to feel like, well, maybe I was misguided, or maybe he has changed, or maybe he has grown up, or whatever, or maybe this is the right time, or whatever the case may be. But behind the scenes, it's just somebody's done enough to prop themselves up for a moment. What's the truth about them is, like I said, what was from the gate. What was before was even more than what was seen, as my phone goes off again. And the outcome of it, and perhaps even this person for sure, aside, but definitely of connecting with someone, is this Five of Pentacles. That exact energy that I was saying, like when you feel like, damn, I knew it, I should have never got involved, or I should have never this and never that, you know what I mean? Like, that would be the ultimate outcome, because that's all that this situation, or this encounter or connection really has to offer. Like someone may even be trying to protect themselves from this outcome for themselves by aligning with someone that they feel could either save them from it, cover them from it, or just improve their trajectory in some way. But it's not going to work that way for them. It's not going to work where getting with a Queen of Cups Empress would actually elevate them to the, okay, got it. So they think that this connection is going to advance their position, and like, to, what's the word that I'm trying to find, like somebody would want to come up on a partnership or a relationship. Like, if I get with this person, you get with an Empress, and hell, we started off with a freaking Knight of Swords. So if I get with the Empress or Queen of Cups, at least I can at least come up to the King of Cups, even if it's just the robes, the bells, and the whistles. And, deep down in my heart, I ain't really that, but I can at least put on a good facade, or have the right access to, play that part. But what's actually going to happen is, in this dynamic, is that energy would bring both of y'all down to worse than where they were to start with, and to definitely a rock bottom for whomever this feminine energy is. They are already on that trajectory with this Seven of Wands. That's what they're trying to avoid. This Seven of Wands against the Five of Pentacles. They're trying to avoid some type of demise, some decline, some misfortune, bad luck, maybe even poor health, or definitely misfortune, whatever that means in a nutshell. That's what they're trying to curb, by even perhaps even just looking bad, you know what I mean? Because I keep saying there seems to be an emphasis about appearances, and perception. So even somebody looking bad in this Five of Pentacles energy, where it's like, you don't even, like, you might give charity to the vagrant on the street, but you're not necessarily trying to invite them into your home, you know what I mean? Not necessarily. But for someone like this, if they can align themselves with this type of energy that is credible, that's that, for more or less, like, is of high value, then it would seem that impression would project onto them, or reflect onto them. Well, if such and such is cool with such and such, then they must be all right, or they, you know what I mean? Like, kind of like graced by association type of thing. Not guilty by association, but graced by association. But like I said, what's ultimately going to happen is that it's going to bring the whole situation down, because somebody is just like either walking karma or walking bad luck, misfortune. Like they bring, because of their activities and their that undercurrent that they operate in, they pretty much bring destruction, as we saw the tower. Well, you didn't see it, but I saw the tower. Wherever they go, they've already burned bridges, so they're coming to places where they know there's good clean water, somebody is authentic, where there's trustworthiness, there's benevolence or charity, love. Even they're finding their way to sources such as that, because they've ultimately depleted what they had access to, or depleted their own source. And because they don't have much to offer, and probably aren't really looking to offer much, honestly. Look, the seven of thus the bridges burned, with that seven of wands that I see. Like they got a lot of things that they are still trying to defend themselves, or they are defensive against. Maybe offenses that they have made to other people that, more or less are either looking to get back, or that they just, like I said, they can't go back to those connections. They can't reconnect to certain things, people, places, and things, because of the actions that they've taken. So it's almost like, I felt a desperation before early in this, but I didn't say it. It's almost like a last resort, last ditch effort, desperation to come out of the cold, or, find a proper snuggle buddy before for cuffing season, or before, cuddle season comes up, because they see the handwriting on the wall, and there aren't too many places that they are received with open arms anymore, and it's like, sucks to be them, but that's kind of the bed that they made. I'm gonna leave it there. Let's see what else. Yeah, conflict. That's exactly what I'm talking about. This is what they've either created in behind them, or what they have, what they feel they have to look forward to, like pretty much to engage the energies and the circumstances that their actions have mapped out for them. There aren't a lot of spaces because of the associations that they've made, even perhaps, there aren't a lot of spaces where they could go and find peace, find honesty, to find people that are trustworthy, or not just looking to compete or knock them out of their spot, or like even the most minor or harmless competition gets old after a time. Like, you want to be in a place where you could just be yourself, but it's not given that. It's something much more aggressive here that someone doesn't want to be stuck in. They don't want to be stuck in this, but they also don't have the capacity and even the true will to truly change for the best, in order to fit in the type of environments, in the spaces, and with the associations that are the opposite of this, the contrast of this, where there's harmony, there's balance, there's fairness, there's justice. You can leave your wallet around and not be afraid that somebody's going to go in it. You know what I mean? You could give somebody your debit card, and for whatever reason you would, but give somebody your debit card and they wouldn't just like go have a shopping spree, or you could trust someone with your personal information or whatever, and they won't use it against you in some way, or steal your identity or whatever. Like, it's like something here like that, where someone is fatigued from what they created, mainly because there's really nothing, there's no value really. Like there are no, the resources in those spaces have been kind of depleted. They've been dried up for the most part. So if someone looking for another source of vitality, but and they aiming high, they're determined to get it from a high source. They're not willing to put anything back in. They're going to take everything they can and run, or stay like a parasite, you know, almost, and suck the life out of wherever they are until there's no more to suck out. And then they may move on again, you know what I mean, to yet another source or another target. So it's like you wouldn't want to be just a notch on somebody's belt, you know, or a stop along somebody's destructive path, because there's no empathy here, really. Like that's what someone's trying to, you know, prop themselves up as if they have some high level of compassion and care and kindness, and they don't really have that. They don't have that. They just know how to probably talk a good game or show all the right signs for a time. But like I said, in this season, those type of masks and cloaks and disguises don't really hold up very long, especially for those that know what to look for and have seen it before. Now, when you want to tell yourself that it's not what, like I was saying before, like to double guess, you know, or question yourself as to whether or not you're seeing what you're seeing, and more importantly, that you're feeling what you're feeling, that's when you put yourself in a position to be taken advantage of fairly. It's all fair game at that point in time, you know. But what it is quite plain. Your eyes will not deceive you. Your emotions will not be oversaturated. Your senses will not be misguided. You'll know. It's just a matter of whether or not you look at this, the tower again. Child, hell no. Hell no. This is somebody that has created towers, and now they trying to run from the towers that they created, and yet and still bring that fire and destruction. And I see the 9 of Swords peeking out. Yes, the desperation, trying to bring that fire and destruction, fire and brimstone to somebody else's doorstep, to at least share the, you know, to share the experience, so that they're not going about it all their own, but for the most part, so that they can kind of stock up on some forced fuel to continue on their path, to continue on their journey. Maybe even this trade places, you know. If I can deplete you of your good luck, your good energy, your creativity, your zeal, your good ideas, you know, your manifestation power, your confidence, your love, all of that. Like they gonna fill it up, they gonna run it up, and then they gonna be out. So don't be that girl, don't be that guy. Your first instinct is the right one. Trust it. Yep. Anyway, I'm gonna leave that there. Thank you for listening and watching. Until next time, as always, I leave you with peace.